Ladies and gentlemen, Keiki here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is up about 0.4% there. On the S&P Nasdaq pretty much flat. Semiconductor 0.2, Dow 0.6, along with the small caps, transport, banks, energy down, biotech, healthcare, home builders, utilities, retail, emerging market. These guys are green, except the fact that emerging market is and energy are the only sectors with the red prints today. Bitcoin down, gold, silver miners are also dollar up, oil down, treasury bond down. VIX is down about 4% there. Let's do this. S&P 500 ETF. Spider! 65-minute chart here. So this is where we closed yesterday, and actually we saw an up gap this morning here. So with that up gap, what happened was, though, this down gap was filled with that fade. However, when we did see that up gap this morning, we were met with that down gap from several days ago, and that level acted as resistance here. As you can see, it would have been better if the bulls got up and filled this down gap. And because we didn't feel that down gap, it quickly acted as a micro term resistance. And so that first hour we faded back down. That entirety of that up gap was filled on that first hour. And on the second hour, we continued drip lower. And with that, we were now gone back below the micro term. So once we got down below the micro term, we hung around there below it the next 4 hours. However, it looks like that horizontal pivot of 393 here, that prior support from just last 3 hours of yesterday's trading session, that level did act as support here at 393. And finally was able to get above the micro term on the last hour. So we are slightly above the micro term. And that might give some edge going into tomorrow for the bulls if we can see a follow through. And if we do see a follow through to the upside tomorrow, what bulls need to do is get up and fill this down gap as quickly as possible. Once that down gap gets filled, it's going to act as micro term resistance. So 398, 399 level should be the next level resistance. Should there be a continuation to the upside? Remember, this down gap doesn't get filled. Bears are going to come back down to 393. So it's imperative that down gap gets filled. Let's zoom out a little bit here and kind of, look at the overall picture here. So we talked about the fact that prior resistance acting as new support here at 390. We saw that little bit of pop gap up today, came back down, retested micro term support at 393, and we're just hanging around in that vicinity. So we're overall structure is gonna favor the buyers with that higher high and higher lows. We're just dealing with this down gap. So this is an important level, because if the bulls cannot get back up to 400 to attack this big down gap here, bears gonna find a way to attack this up gap at 385. So you can see this is the battleground right now. That 400, 410 gap area. This is where all the boss bears are hanging out. And this is a 385, 375 up gap area. This is where bulls are making sure that it gets protected. In between, there's gonna be a battle going on, and whoever gets up there, either 400, 410 down gap or 385, 375 up gap, whoever gets up there and start eating up that real estate is gonna be the first one to conquer that vicinity. Check out that oscillator. So this is what we talked about yesterday. Despite the fact that we did see that fade today, after the gap up, that oscillator continued to support the bulls here, kind of similar to what we saw here, right? You saw that gap up here. We faded back down, right? But you can see that oscillator kind of continue to advance, and that inevitably did see some strength to the upside, as you can see here, and potentially, that's what the oscillator is telling us, supporting the bulls going into next week.
Perfect.
That we may see a little run up similar to this here in at least a couple days or so, and that gets us to about 400. And you can see it is not overbought at all. And this is exactly what bulls needed to do, because obviously we've been working with the overbought sentiment quite some time here. You can see for like several days, bulls been running on empty, you know, putting that oscillator all the way to the top of his band, not able to continue. Bulls needed to rest, needed to reset that oscillator. They did that. And then we're going back up here. Now that bulls rested, as you can see right here, we have a lot of space remaining in this zone here. That oscillator really wants to make a move to the upside. So if we do see a continuation next week, at least, you know, Monday and Tuesday, there's a good chance the market, the buyers are looking for about 400 there. And I think because the momentum, the oscillator is thriving to the upside, advancing here, only way bears can really dismantle all of this is some surprise downside attack and getting below the 393. Keep in mind that my short-term moving average currently residing in 390s. So I'm coming back for you. We'll reassess the situation. Enjoy your evening. Good luck trading next week.
So what do you need besides a miracle?
Guns. Lots of guns.
Neo. No one has ever done anything like this.
That's why it's going to work.